Welcome to Ball Fans International. You're joined by Panathafan Nick. Welcome, boys.
Evening,
Yeah,
boys.
okay. What's happening?
We were very close to being a complete disaster class of a pod, but we were salvaged by a rocket strike, which we'll discuss later on. Um, but yeah, let's just get straight into it. First game up for discussion is the Panathinaikos Djugardin game, which was the Europa Conference League game. We fell 2-1 to Djurgården away. We opened up the scoring in the 17th minute with Jurisic and Djurgården. It was a nice goal, almost overhead kick from Jurisic. Djurgården equalized with Gulliksen and took the lead through Hummet. The two players that we mentioned last week that were going to be the main danger players. Boys, another disaster result in Europe, another disaster result away from home in Europe. Let's discuss how we saw the game.
All yours, Nick.
Tale of two halves. Honestly, that as Sturge said, terrific goal by Djuricic, and that was like the icing on the cake on a really terrific first half that lacked probably you could say the finishing touches like in the final third, where we look a little lost, like we didn't create many clear-cut chances, but I thought we were in cruise control. We looked very dominant, played some good stuff coming out of our own end, playing from the back. Unai picking up nice spots, nice movement. He was getting in nice areas. The ball, we're always finding a spare man, and it was good to see like a bit of purpose to our play, a game plan. And I thought we were it was safe as heading into halftime. And honestly, I've got no idea what happened in that second half because, as I said, tale of two halves. That second half, the first half was probably the best I think we've looked this season. That second half was up there, honestly, up there for the worst we've looked. I can't remember a single chance we created. It was truly shocking. I know that the ref, when we're going to get onto the ref, he cost us probably the draw, but not the win. Like we didn't have a chance from the 17th minute onwards, and that's not good enough. You can't win in Europe if you're that bad in the final third. Really. As for the ref, shocking. The big talking point was their second goal, and 40 after the game goes, I got kicked. And our guys were waiting. I was waiting as well for VAR to overturn it. And the only thing they checked was for the offside, which he wasn't. But then after that, you just knew we never looked like creating anything. We could have kept playing for another few hours and not scored. Bitterly disappointing. And with that, the top eight's gone. That's the worst thing. This campaign was all about getting the coefficient back up and avoiding all these hard draws we get in our winter, the European summer months. In the qualifiers now, it's backs against the wall with very small margin for error just to make the bloody playoffs. And look, I do think we'll get there because our next three games we're going to get onto them, but they're much more winnable, much easier. But it's still, I can't explain how frustrated I am, how disappointing it is we're not going to be in that top eight.
Um, I thought, look, Nick is absolutely spot on the assessment as far as being tailed two halves. After the game, I was like, you know what? I don't want us making playoffs. I want us to be not proceeding any further because if we're going to keep putting that rubbish up, I do not want to watch it. It was so
No, bad,
disappointing.
bad.
Yeah, that second half in particular. It was, as a fan, very, very frustrating to see us just roll over and just be so different from that first half. Um, but interesting to note that I compared that game to the previous games under the Alonso era, and how many times have we played good in patches and then just gone absolutely cold for the balance of the game? Against PAO away, we had a good half. Against Chelsea, we in the first 20 minutes
Yeah.
we strung some good passes together. Yeah, in the first half against Olympiacos as well, we just seem to, as a team, as a club, not be able to concentrate on what we need to do for 90 minutes, and we just switched off. I don't put any of this blame of that poor performance on Victoria as a coach. I mean, it was like his second game in charge.
Yeah.
And really, I don't think any coach in the world would have been able to anticipate after that first half that team switching off the way they did in that second half. And we made Djugardin look like they were Chelsea or some EPL club, the way they were playing us in that second half. They looked hungry. They were first to the ball. They were committing their bodies on the
Yeah.
line. The referee didn't see half their fouls, and
Yeah.
he called that out. But they wanted it more. They were hungrier. You could see it. The
Yeah.
challenges, the pressure they were putting. They were able
Exactly.
to string
They were.
passes together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it made me think of some of the Panathinaikos squads we had from years gone by, where we had far, far less talent. We had that fighting spirit that was able to get us over the line for wins. None of that was apparent in that game, and that's what frustrates me more than anything. I could name probably the majority of the players in that starting 11 say you let us down miserably. And I don't want to do that because that's just not what this pod's about in terms of from a time point of view. But I think I've said enough in terms of how frustrated I am and still thinking about that result.
40 summed it up, didn't he? He cut a frustrated figure from the off. He sums us up at the moment. And again, it's not his fault. The only way he's going to get over the rustiness for me is if he keeps playing. But I just think
Yep.
he sums us up at the moment. Like last season, between the three strikers, 45 goals. This season, 5 goals. And it
It's a
was
damning
similar,
stat.
wasn't it, to Boras? As you said, these guys, they preyed on our vulnerability, our weaknesses. They pressed us a little bit more. They got a bit more intense, a bit more in our faces. And I don't know why we went in our shell because they are nothing special.
But in the game against Bloodouts, the reality is that we dominated and we created multiple chances and
We
we
did.
just failed to put them away.
Yes.
And they had two good chances. This was not anything like that game.
No,
That
no, this is
that
worse.
second half. But let's be honest, Djugardin deserved to win.
Yes.
Borat's no, I don't think they deserved the draw. We deserved to win that comfortably. It was just that we couldn't finish in this game. The question I've got, maybe I've blocked it out of my memory. I can't even remember creating a decent chance in that second half.
None.
We
None.
didn't create anything. And, I think we started off positive once again. We had that big chance where no one wanted to shoot. The ball found Mladenovic and his shot almost went for a throwing. He just absolutely blasted it and went for a throwing. So there was ample opportunities for a player to shoot. And for the fact that the left back came in and took a shot, just speaks about where the confidence is amongst the players and amongst the team. That was probably a good quality chance. He was clear on goal as well. The goal we scored was quite fortunate. They cleared a header and it found Jurisic who first time overhead kicked it. Nice finish. Overhead kicked. It was almost out of nothing, really, that chance. Just came from a poor clearing header from them. Then after that was just nothing. And it summed it up against Lamia as well, where we'll get to that as well. But it's very, very parallel performances where you just see the same struggles. We're not really creating. Where we retained the ball. That was a Victoria sort of objective or the way he wanted to play. The keep possession, boss the possession, but we didn't boss the game. We allowed Djurgardin to really go physical. Their equalizer was poor defense by Mladenovic, who was quite slow reacting to the line. He fell behind. Their goal scorer, the young kid, uh, Gullikson. So he's the one player that I mentioned was going to be a danger. Just beat the offside trap. Just that lazy
Yeah.
defending from
Mladenovic.
Mladenovic and just coolly placed it. It was a nice finish. Like full credit to him. And then the second goal was ridiculous. The officiating. I don't like to blame officiating for losses, anything like that. But
This was horrific.
this was a swing of potentially us winning.
Yeah.
Even if we deserved it or not, we deserved that penalty. That was a clear-cut penalty. It went from us getting fouled in the box to then them beating the offside trap. VAR reviewed it and gave it a goal, but VAR didn't go back and review the penalty. It's just shocking. What's VAR there for if they're not going to review errors, then I'm going to review foul play into the lead up. So, and then there was another instance where poor officiating, where their player dirtedly foul play right in front of the linesman.
Mladenovic at
Put
the
his
end.
shoulder, he continued his run, swung his shoulder into Mladenovic's face, left Mladenovic bloodied, and nothing gets called from that. Not a single red card, which it should have been a red card. Not even a yellow, not even a free kick. Absolutely disgusting. The officiating was poor. They really went in physical against us and they managed to get away with it. The referee really allowed them to get away with quite a bit. Our players just maybe didn't react well to the physicality of the game, and that's it. That's what cost us as well. With that loss, it leaves us now, as Nick said, we're struggling in um, we're struggling in the conference league in our positioning. So I think we're sitting like near the
Down.
bottom.
Yeah. 1 point out of a possible nine. And look, the next three, like, come on, no excuses, really. Helsinki at home, the New Saints away, and the last one, Dynamo Minsk at home. That's got to be 9 points with three convincing wins there, surely.
Yeah,
Surely.
We should have had 3 points from this game, though.
Yeah. Even
Yeah,
Borat's as well, like you said.
correct. It's lost or missed opportunities there to get some points, get coefficient points, so we don't have to keep on going through these hard
More
fixtures.
games
In
and
that,
more games. If we do make the playoffs, 2 extra games.
it's just but it's not. That's probably the least of the concern,
Yeah,
at
you're
least
right.
in
You're right.
Europe. But it's more the fact that we're not picking up those coefficient points. So if we ever make Champions League, if we ever make Europa League, those drawings are always
Oh,
going to be difficult because we can't get coefficient points. We're always going to be viewed as the unseeded team. And it happened. We got drawn Ajax and we got drawn Lens, two seeded teams. So something needs to change, especially in Europe. The attitude, everything. And as I said, we saw similar behavior from the Europa game, the conference game, to the game this morning where it was just not creating enough. And I think it's been the tale of the whole season that we're getting stuck on one goal. We're not doing enough to get the second goal. Or there's been a couple of games we've done more than enough to get the second goal, but poor finishing cost us. But
not today.
today was one of those games. Djugardin was definitely another one of those games when even if we go up 1-0, I don't think the team's going to be comfortable enough. I think they're going to feel vulnerable because we can't get that second goal, and it's likely that our opposition can get a goal on us. So, and that plays on the players' minds as well.
well, we've conceded in every game.
In
So
Europe,
how many in 3 games we've
In
conceded
Europe,
seven
yeah,
goals?
yeah.
Yep, 7 goals in 3 games
It's
conceded.
scored three, averaging scoring a goal a game.
Yep,
With this attack that we've got against this opposition, take out Chelsea, obviously.
yep. And our goals have been individual highlights, individual talent. Like the Jurisic against Djugardin was a great goal, well taken goal.
And the
But
Bakasetas one in the first game, but as you said, individual. The only team one was in the Chelsea game, but it was 4-0 anyway. It was game over by then.
it's game over, correct. Um, and as I said, I'm welcome you boys talking about individual play performances in that game, but I think there was too many players that really did not shine at all.
Yeah, yeah. I was quite upset at a few of the player performances in that game. Um, Ingerson, for me, he's been quite a bit of a letdown. Ingerson, Unahi, for me, disappointed a lot in that game as well. 40, but we know if, we can make excuses for 40, and he's clearly not fit. He's clearly rusty. He's picking up that match fitness. He's slowly getting better. That was a game where, once again, trying a bit too much, nothing really coming off for him. He's not there yet. I don't think he's too far away. But time will come for him. Mladenovic was quite poor as well in that game. I think he was just playing on the emotion. I think the crowd was quite giving it to him, but
He's another one. You can make excuses for him, like Forty. The poor guy has to play every single game because of Max.
and yeah,
Hasn't stopped.
for me, yeah, and I think Adal as well. I think with the physicality of that game,
He's another one. He's played non-stop.
oh, but the physicality of that one, you'd expect him to be in the thick of it, but he didn't really step up to it. So I think those kind of players really disappointed in this match day. But I think for me, overall, Ingerson has not been that sort of rock defender, that Viking that we expected.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You look at what Magnussen did in his first season, he created a positive impression in terms of the way he led from that defence. Not seeing a leader in defence with Fingerson.
No.
Well, the next match of day is against Helsinki. We will be playing that in Athens. Um, 28th of November local time. It will be a um 9:45 game. No, 7:45 p.m. kickoff local time in Greece. If you're watching it from Australia, so especially on the eastern side or Sydney, Melbourne, it'll be a 4:45 a.m. kickoff that one. So that's Helsinki. Yeah, Helsinki, we'll let the in the next podcast do the review, but just for now, in terms of the significance of the game, they're on 3 points, one win, two losses, uh, one goal scored, five goals conceded. So I think, yeah, they've played against an opposition that will be playing Dynamo Minsk, which they got their win, but they've lost to a weak team in Olympia, and they've also played, I can't remember who else, Lugano, which is I think the Swiss,
Swiss.
yeah,
Swiss.
3-0, and the Greeks scored against them, Andonios Papadopoulos.
No.
So yeah, that will come at a later review. Also, on the follow-up of that, we had the short turnaround home game versus Lamia. We won 1-0 in the 73rd minute. Bakasetas, as I said before, absolute rocket of a free kick. Very rare that he nails those free kicks, so it could have not come at a more timely manner. Lamia was reduced to 10 players. Radonia got sent off for a last man tackle. Let's discuss this one, boys, because this one, a lot of similarities, as I said, to the Djurgården game.
Yeah. Not good this one either, was it? Really? It was someone who said it. Someone was saying in the chat, this has nil or written all over it, unless there's some fluky Jimmy goal laid on.
Yeah, me and Alex were
Yeah,
discussing in
yeah.
our messages that it's likely we're gonna win this via a penalty because we're not looking likely to score.
He had to make changes. Not that that's an excuse with the turnarounds, but he's now getting to know the guys. Like Gedvay was injured, but he was going to be out anyway, wasn't he? With the cards,
Yeah,
and
That's right.
Jurisic was out with the cards as well. I thought Unai was good in this one. He had a couple of chances. Their keeper pulled off a couple of good saves with him. Felicity was probably our best in this one. No one else really stood out. Like he got the guy red carded for them. He won that free kick to get him red carded early in the second half. And in the first half, he took the ball off him in a duel and created a chance for himself. That's probably as good as we saw. Again, 40, two chances come to mind. A nothing header of a free kick in the first half. And second half, he blazed over when he twisted and turned inside the box. But as Sturge said, sensational goal by Dasos Bakasetas. Can you believe it? We're in November. It's his first league goal. Attacking midfielder. That's
Yes.
his first league goal.
And he scored a few last season in the 6 months he
Yeah, of
played. Yeah.
course.
So he was on fire last second half of the season.
Yeah.
But now it's taken to November to score.
Yeah. How do you see it, Nick? Panathafan?
Look, it's the same sort of, well, to add to Nick's comments, the fact that they got the red card made life a hell of a lot easier. And I'd hate to see what would have happened if they didn't get the red card. Although, to be fair, I mean, we were clear on goal in terms of the red card action. So, yeah, it had to be a red. There's no question about it. It was going to be a one-on-one chance, and you think that would have been put away. But ultimately, same themes that came through in Djugardin came through here as far as our inability to create. Moments of individual brilliance. I think good call out Sturge in regards to Unahi, who seems to be finding his role better. Um, I'm sort of scratching my head as to why Maksimovic is not getting a run. This would have been a perfect game for him to give Aral a break. Not that Aral was bad as such. I question whether Bart should be in this squad moving forward. And it just doesn't fill me with confidence. And this game is no different, even though Lamia weren't overly threatening. Um, you know what? I'm going to call out Lamia though, because considering the budget and the squad, I think they held us off pretty well for most of the game.
They played well. I thought,
Yep.
yeah, exactly. It's not like, yes, they sat back. It was all about defense, but they tried to come at us. By that I mean press us a bit higher up.
Agree.
Yeah. Look, Lamia came to Oaxaca to not lose.
Yeah, yeah,
They did the same thing to Bulk and Olympiacos. They made them really work for that win. They made 8 drop points this season. So that tells you where, and Lamia's close to the foot of the table. So
yeah. Bottom equal last. Yeah,
yeah, so that kind of tells you their approach to the big games compared to every single other team that they come up against. So it was always going to be difficult. The way they lined up, it was 5-4-1, sometimes 5-5-0, the way that they were playing, and letting Furtado be the main striker up front, even though he's the winger, it was always
yeah.
almost that last man up front. So again, chances were not coming easy. I just thought it was just going to be a long game because there was nothing really worth noting in that first half. I think Pelistri had a couple of self-made chances, a couple of good saves by the keeper there, but that's about it. All shots were almost outside the box. I think they had one half chance, and that's about it. The crowd, at halftime booed the players, just expressing their disappointment. It's like we played well in the sense of getting the ball from the back, moving forward to the midfield. Maybe because Lamia allowed us, they weren't putting the press. They were really trying to compress and really stack the box, their defensive box that maybe between the goal line and about 30, 35 yards, just really compress it, force us out wide, give us really nothing to play at. And it was getting frustrating because he had no solutions to that. It was very reminiscent in Ivan's years 2 years ago, where
Mm.
we would get to the box and we just had no solution to that compression. So, but it just seemed even worse looking at it today. We just looked like we had no idea what to do or how to.
No, you're right. You're spot on. That final third is the glaring issue. That's my takeaway from this game. Exactly that.
The
Look good,
moment seemed
look good in
slow,
the
so it was just easy for their defense to just adjust and to defend it. It was frustrating. And then yeah, then comes the second half. Palistri gets on the break, gets fouled. Referee gives initially a yellow card. There was no complaints from the Lamia player or anything, and then VAR intervened rightfully gave the red card. From there, Lamia adjusted into a 5-3-1, more like a 5-5-4-0, mostly 5-3-1 at times. Then the chances started coming. And then, the free kick, then Bakasetas rocket. The subs were good. I'll just do a couple of positive call outs, good things that I saw, or good things. And we'll do the negatives. So we'll start with the negatives. Mancini, fairly anonymous, fairly anonymous. The big disappointment. I've been saying about this player that his level is probably outside of the top five Greek teams. Sorry, oops, outside the top five Greek teams, but he's playing against a near bottom team, and he was very bad. Bart Shakerfield was very, very poor today. He got subbed off, tactical adjustment, but he was not playing very well at all. Unahi lifted in more of a positive thing. Mladenovic, for me, he went off injured, but he was just ineffective. He was just very ineffective, not playing well. Um, but what we did see good was Max returned from his absence. And he played pretty good. That cameo that he had, I thought there was a lot of positive. Defended very well, and just kept it simple. Good passing, just what you want from a player. So that was those encouraging signs to see that he got some minutes. I kind of liked 40 today because yes, we know he's out of form. Yes, we know he's rusty, but he was trying to take shots. He was trying to make things happen. I'd rather see him take shots rather than not take shots. Yeah, I think last week I said I don't, he was overdoing it, etc. But um, he's slowly gaining his confidence, and one of those shots is going to turn into a goal. He will find his feet. So I thought his performance was pretty encouraging. Even with the circumstances that we saw, the really defensive, and obviously for me, big praise. Oh, like I said, this goal, that was noteworthy. Rocket and big praise for Palistri. Very happy with his performance. It was constant threat, constant, just really going at it. You know, Probably one of the shortest players on the field, but really, really stepping up, using his body, going physical at them, challenging, contesting headers, anything in the air, even if he was giving away the foul in their box or anything. He was really asserting himself physically. A couple of times he won the ball himself. He really ran and took the game to them, something that Mancini couldn't do. So I was very happy with Palistri. Palistri's performance. He was arguably our best player on the field, and rightfully so.
It's good to see that he's been stepping up when others haven't. It's very pleasing to see. It's a good call out in terms of a positive highlight.
Yeah, and you'll see on socials we need a left winger. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think he's put his hand up that he can be that left winger. Obviously, he's got competition with an informed Jurisic for that role as well. But it's good, healthy competition. They both can play it, and I'm seeing positive things when both are they're playing it. So
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we need that position at all. There's other positions, and I'd say the back four is where we need most attention still.
yeah, yeah, and we'll get to that. Yeah, quite shortly.
But I think over the next fortnight, his number one priority, Victoria, over this international break, is that final third. It's what Serge was saying. We go there, we play through the first two thirds all right. Then we get to that final third and we just look lost. We don't know what to do. That's what's got to be fixed for me as the top priority. Because this team has too much talent.
I've
But
heard, I've
we're not
heard.
seeing it.
No, we're not, and I think you're spot on. And I have heard other YouTube accounts talk about how we don't have the playmakers in our final third, or players with a playmaking ability. I don't agree with that. I think that whether it's like I said though, whether it's that they're, I'd even say Pelistri to an extent, Forty when it drops back, they've all got playmaking ability. It's just that they don't seem to work well together. They don't seem to work off the ball and be able to read their moves, and it's just bizarre,
I
absolutely
think
bizarre in
it's
terms
the
of why we
Alonso.
are so poor.
I think it's the Alonso DNA still. Players adjusting to the what Rui Vittorio wants from him.
And I think that it's important that we call it. Oh, I personally believe anyway that Victoria does not get any of the blame for our poor performances.
Nah.
Uh,
He's still
yeah,
getting
if it,
he hasn't got his feet under the desk yet.
no, no, and I think that he could tell he's sort of trying plays, yeah, out and seeing how they're going. And Mancini's a good example today in terms of he was given an opportunity against a lower Greek team and he did absolutely nothing. So he's given Tete a break as well. And Tete I thought was poor against Djugardin, very poor. So he probably needed that break. But the players like Bart and obviously Mancini is the ones that the obvious ones, like Max for a short period of time. He's given them a shot. He's given them an ability to demonstrate what they can do. So which is good.
Yeah. And the thing is now after this game, especially with the short turnaround coming from Sweden, playing Lamia, we do have the international break, so we'll be off for 2 weeks. We do return, and then from there on, it's a bit of a congested fixture list that's coming up. So we'll just review the one game, but I'll discuss what our fixtures are going to look like. The next game is away to Panathinaikos. Now,
Hard game.
it's a very hard game considering how they're playing and where they're sitting at this season. They're sitting in sixth, just 1 point behind us. They've beaten Ike, I believe. Not too sure. Can't remember the results against the other
Well,
teams.
they beat Aris, a few
Yeah.
days ago.
Yeah, and Aris were first. They're still first, with due to the head-to-head. Um, but it's very tricky game. We play Panathinaikos, so we're sitting on 19, they're sitting on 18. In those 11 games, they've outscored us, but they have conceded one more than us. So definitely not easy. And like every game, it's a must-win game. Then we got Helsinki, we got Atromitos, then we got to fit in the Greek Cup. Then we've against Atromitos, we got Asteras Tripolis shortly after, Europe against New Saints, Levadeikos, Dynamo Minsk, and Kalithea. That's leading into Christmas. So between say the 24th Greek time, November, we have 10 games in a month.
A month. Fuck.
The Greek Cup is 2 legs, correct? Or is it?
Two.
Two,
Yeah.
two.
If
I was first leg postponed because of
They've got a date now, 4th of December.
yeah,
the okay.
so that's so we play Atromitos in the league on the 1st of
Yeah.
December local time. So we'll be playing Atromitos 3 times in the space of a month or a few weeks possibly. So we're playing 10 games in a month. So
Well, we've got the squad. When I say we've got the squad, it's not like we're short of players.
no, no. And with this international break that's coming up, I think it's going to be a good chance because just we'll finish up on the squad form, some players are up or finding their feet, and others just have completely lost their way. We've seen, 40 is slowly finding his feet. We're seeing Bart not up to it, and we're gonna need Bart, like it or not, at the moment with the
Um,
squad that we've got.
yeah.
We're gonna need Bart. We're gonna need all our players as well to be healthy, just to fill in for in case any injuries do occur. We do have the depth this season, no doubt, but we shouldn't have to rely wholeheartedly on our squad being 100% fit at all times. It's just not realistic. So expect the rotations, and we need all players. Mancini, obviously, he hasn't set the world on fire at all this season. Surprising he's still getting gigs or starting opportunities. We haven't really seen Limnios given opportunities, so he's either not training well or not too sure what's happening there. Um, that's one to obviously monitor.
Well, he hasn't shown anything since the day we signed him.
No, no. Well, he came to us with no preseason or anything. He just looked off the pace from the get-go. So since then, he's had a full preseason, but he's just not featured at all. So let's just see what's going to happen in that space as well, the Limnios space. But yeah,
If I had told you guys though, back at the start of the season, we're going to be on to our fifth coach in 10 months. We're going to fail to win back-to-back games until early November in the league. We're going to be among the lowest scorers in the league with our budget and the players we've acquired. Winless in Europe halfway into the league phase campaign, but we're only 2 points off first in the league. I reckon we all would have laughed. I would have.
I'm
yeah,
laughing just thinking about it.
yeah.
Mind blowing.
Especially with, the squad, the form that the squad is in, and bringing up the ladder. If you look at the ladder, not too long ago, what, eighth,
Between the last
7, 8 points
international
behind
break and
us.
now, we've mowed them down by a good 4 or 5 points.
Now we're sitting fifth, 2 points behind Aris and Aiku and Olympiacos, who all occupy top spot.
And they all play each other after the
Yeah.
international break.
Yeah, so you got Ike Olympiacos or Olympiacos Ike in the league. Not too sure who the other two play, but
The week after, that is Aikadis.
yeah, yeah. So that's the following week. But yeah, you know, on the return from the international break, you got, the big game, Olympiacos Ike. So quite possible if we beat Panathinaikos, we jump one of them at least. So
We're not even
It,
playing it like, as we're saying off there, we're not even playing at 20% of our level, really. We know we're not even like the gears, going through the gears. We're not in second gear. We're barely in first gear. Imagine if we do find our feet, we get some rhythm and consistency and we hit like 50 and then 80, 90%. We're gonna have something to say in this thing
well,
come the end of the
it's
season.
on paper, we do have the potential, but it's just what's being put out on,
No, at the
on the
moment we're
field for the
looking at
conference
anything.
level.
Yeah, we're looking at anything but a title challenger. Like Ivan's teams that were robbed of the league compared to this, it's night and day the difference.
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
And like I said, and it's got to do with the squad form. And as I said, we're heading into the international break, and for me, it couldn't come at a more perfect
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I think it's going to give time for the players to now just relax, whoever's got those niggling injuries, couple of injuries, Jedvaj, Mladenovic, Jurisic as well, just re-energize, just get back fitness. Gibbs now.
Who's going away? We got the three Greeks, Vayanidis, Bakasetas, Ioannidis.
I
Teddy,
think,
no doubt, Slovenia.
Mhm. Mhm.
Unai, is he going to
yes,
with Morocco? He
Yes,
is.
yes.
he
Then
did
you,
come off injured, but I
the
don't think he's
Serbs,
serious.
one of the
Mladenovic
Mladenovic,
and
yeah,
Maximovic.
Maksimovic.
Maximovic, Jurisic, yeah, he doesn't anymore. He'll
He
stay.
retired.
Um, who else? Dragovski, did he Poland? Oh, I didn't say.
Yep, yep,
We're
yep.
talking half the squad's not even going to be here.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't think Dragowski will play.
Pelistri.
Alicia will go to Uruguay. Yeah.
Yep. I
But
think Dragovski's been on the bench from last couple of games, remember?
yeah, he'll start. He'll be start from the bench. But it's significant that a lot of the players that need to rest will get that little bit of rest. And what's more important is that Rui Vitoria will get to assess the squad
Yes.
more
Yeah.
properly and just work on what he needs to do, plans going forward. Because even in his press conference post-match, he just said that there's no cohesion in the team. There's no synergy in the team. So, and he's rightfully admitting that, and he's rightfully pointing that out because he's just pretty much pointing out what everyone can see that we're playing poor. It doesn't look like we look disjointed. We can get the ball, we can move it forward, and then we're just clueless.
It's amazing that we've we've talked about how the squad's no cohesion. We've talked about how certain players are out of form, were just not really cutting it for the club. And we've got to this stage of the conversation, and Dimitriev's name has not come up once.
Oh,
So
we're getting there.
Yeah. Well, I made the prediction on the last pod that Baba Dimitriou gets sacked in this international break. I think Rui Vitória is going to come out with his recommended players or positions. He wants signed. Obviously, he's gonna preference what positions needs reinforcing. Pass that list on his suggestions because he'd have in mind what players to bring. I don't think he's gonna bring in let Papadimitriou negotiate or try and bring in those players. We've seen what's happened in the past. So I think and if that's the case, Vitoria's gonna make those recommendations, get those players in. That for me spells the end of Papadimitriou. I think his time is up, and I think just judging by the press conference, everything that has followed up within the rumored Vianidis contract talks, everything like that, where Papadimitriou has been excluded. I think the timing now in the international break is perfect. Pack up your bags, Papadimitriou, you're gone.
and I believe there was a chant against him
There was correct.
at the game.
That's why I was saying before we were getting there. Correct. Endalafuzos in this game. But the thing is, why was there no gate 13? I haven't been able to find out why.
They're probably just over with what's happening
Yeah.
result-wise,
Yeah.
performance-wise. The Djugardin game would have turned off a lot of
Oh
people.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Chelsea result as well, where Alonso embarrassed us at home with that as well. So to protest as well against the club or the ownership, I would say.
And a lot of people did call out that with the Djurgården game, the travelling fans did not get any recognition from the players.
Correct. Only Pelistri was the only player to go to the fans after the game.
Hmm.
Pelistri, a new player as well.
The Greeks.
Not even Greek.
That's you think the Greeks especially would know.
Hmm.
They'd be the first to.
They should. And that's where, I don't know, it's just the players don't have their head switched on. I mean, it's unusual for players like Footy not to recognise the fans.
Yeah, I think there's obviously a little bit of disconnect between him and a small portion of the fans that are giving it to him. Obviously, They shouldn't because he's coming off I'll keep pointing it out. He's had no preseason due to the injury in the break, and then Alonso Ball really screwed him with just running around like a headless chicken, trying to chase down everything, and just fatigued and got himself injured because he didn't have a preseason, and you're making him run everywhere, chasing down all these long balls. Just yeah, that's why I'm saying like the international break couldn't have come at a perfect time. I would have probably preferred Forty just rest this international break, but Jova's obviously going to call in everyone he can with the two big games for Greece coming up, two or one big game, whatever's coming up.
Well,
Two,
40,
it might be good for 40. Who knows?
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Not that
I
I
think
think
40,
he'll start. I think he's, especially for England, I think he's going to go Pavlidis.
I think yeah. I don't think Forty is fit enough or
That's
sharp
right.
enough yet.
Because if he was, he'd be one of his first names on the team sheet.
Yeah,
I believe he did so well in the away game. He deserves to start.
Yeah.
yeah, correct on that. But yeah, all the chance with Papa Dimitriou. So
And Alafuzos.
Alafouzos, yeah, but
But,
the anti Alafouzos chants are always going to happen. So we kind of knew that. But
but
yeah,
I've never seen or heard of a technical director being a face of a champ.
He's your mate there.
the spreadsheet guy.
You know what, though? You say that. I've never seen a technical director sit on a bench so
Yeah.
often. It's not like it's a one-off.
But he hasn't since Rui Vitória has come, if you've noticed that.
Hopefully, it's a sign.
So yeah. So
Although
hope
he was in. Maybe he wasn't on the bench, but I saw him on the cameras, the TV coverage. He was in Sweden.
I don't think he was on the bench.
Maybe not on the bench, but he was there.
Great trip for him.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't on the bench for Lamia. I didn't know. I thought he was.
Didn't
I
think
could
he
be wrong.
was, but
I must admit, I didn't look closely.
yeah, enough of that clown. I just can't wait to see the back of him. And with that, we'll bring it up to the last topic. Now, Nick and I discussed the basketball. We knew it wasn't going to be easy against Olympiacos in the EuroLeague. We did falter at home. We lost by five in the end, 90 or 89 to 94. Really low scoring first half points by us. The second half, it was the scoreline was just too much. I think we got it down to 1 or 2 points a couple of times, and then um, Olympiacos just got away from us. They were just hitting big threes. I think Fournier in that fourth quarter really turned it up against us. Um, it was just a just a tough, disappointing game in there. Kendrick Nunn, star player for us. Lesort did well, but we did a critical error towards the end. Just a simple catch of the ball, long pass to him. Juancho played well. Slukas early on played well. Chedi just not really effective. Lorenzo Brown, same. Just some of our players just really didn't step up at all. Yeah, and there's been a couple of other players that are just completely out of form, including our two Greeks, Dinos, Mitoglou, and Papapetro. So last season they're coming up big. This season they're not really backing their performances up either. So it was a quite obviously disappointing result. You never want to lose at home, especially to them. We did lose. Just we move on as the ownership said, as the players said. So we might have lost now, but we'll just wait until what happens at the end of the season.
That's
So
that's right. When
I
it
do
matters,
want.
go
I
go go.
was going to say, last season in the second half in particular, our defensive discipline was a key feature of our game right up until the final four. we're not seeing any of that so far. And I do wonder whether other ones trialing different plays and maybe not putting as much focus on the defensive discipline that we had, and whether we're starting to see that ramp up. Maybe I'm saying that with more hope than understanding the tactical nous of the coach, but we're certainly, yeah, we're not playing with that defensive edge. And
Yeah,
Fournier showed us that in terms of he exposed us.
yeah, he was just nailing big shots that he would never nail in the NBA, especially in their bigger nets or their bigger rims. He just nailed some long range hopeful threes and got them in. And every time we scored, he just landed a big shot himself. So
But he did get a few open looks as well, which
yeah,
ordinarily you shouldn't have,
yeah, correct.
particularly in that last quarter.
Oh well, it's a loss, and I think it just gives the players a renewed focus on the task at hand. We went on a bit of a streak, and it's brought us back down to reality. Yeah, I think we just played against better steadies this morning, and we absolutely whipped them almost by 40. I think that was more of a just the players just take it upon themselves and just really go at it. We saw balanced scoring. We saw Galaktakis get a lot of minutes, almost top scoring. Lorenzo Brown top scored. Kendrick Nunn played a little bit. Papa Petro finding the net himself. Chetty Osman still just not that effective, but we saw smaller minutes given to Lesor and Moraitis. So the big one for them, for the BC team, is in a couple of days, actually, under a couple of days, where we host Maccabi Tel Aviv in the EuroLeague at home. So yeah, Maccabi's traveling poorly, considering that they lost a host of players. They're sitting in 14, 3 wins, 5 losses. We're 5 wins, 3 losses. So we do host Maccabi at home, and then a few days later we travel to Bologna, who are the biggest disappointment so far of the EuroLeague. I believe Hayes said that we will be the biggest disappointment of the EuroLeague. They're sitting only on 2 and 6 losses, so a lot of talk from him. Uneducated talk. You don't really expect smart talk from former Gravity players. So yeah, we traveled to Bologna in the EuroLeague after the Maccabi game. So
Is the Maccabi one a midweek? So we've got like
yeah,
two,
it's
two,
under
two,
under 2 days. So
two in a week again.
yeah, so it's in under 2 days. So Wednesday morning here, Tuesday night in Greece.
Okay.
And then after that, we play the one Greek league game, and then there's two big games in the EuroLeague. It's Zalgiris, who are the surprise team, and that's away, and then Monaco at home, which they have like a strange love affection with us at the moment. So
Yeah.
The social media team's done
Social media,
some,
I reckon
yeah,
maybe
great stuff.
The Mike James effect.
yeah,
There was a rumor of a big announcement coming.
I
Not
did
sure if anything's come out in the last hour or so.
I did read something as a rumor. There's talks of Bogdanovic. That was the name that's been thrown around. They reckon that something was meant to is going to be announced 5 p.m. thereof, local time.
But I'd take Bogdanovic as a player.
Ah,
He's he's an amazing player, but who's he going to replace?
he's absolutely a star, Bogdanovic. Um, Others may be alluding to Misic, because the Hornets said that he's no longer part of the rotation. So I wonder if that's the end of him. So yeah, let's see. It'll be after the podcast, so the announcement, if there is one. But yeah, the that's the rumor. Bogdanovic was the big one that I saw multiple times, and he can really hit him. He's a scorer, and we saw him at the Olympic Games really turning it on. I thought he was fantastic against America. Um, Even though when they weren't getting the whistle at all against them, he really stood up, nailed some big shots against them. So, and he can hit the three, but and probably lacking someone consistently hitting threes. Chetty Osman has been ineffective at the threes. Quite a few of our players are not really hitting at threes. So,
Grigonis
but he's
is
sort of,
struggling.
yeah, he's out of favor as well.
Yep.
Wouldn't surprise me to see him being released or gone himself. That's the one. I believe if someone's gone, it would be Grigonis.
Wait and
So,
see.
yeah,
Wait and see.
it'll be interesting to see the announcement. But if any, and we have been linked to Bogdanovic in the past. Last year, I believe his name was thrown around, but he remained in the NBA.
I'll take him in a heartbeat, like you said, Sturge. He's a brilliant player.
Yeah. Yeah, you played NBA. He's played NBA for X amount of years. You could be a good player to play in the NBA. Even, role player, squad player, you still got to be a good player to do that. Played across multiple teams, especially contending teams. Think the New York Knicks as well, a part of that when they were on their run.
Some of their fans got big expectations of the Knicks. I don't know if they'd want him.
The Knicks are loser team, so no matter what, they're just losers, the Knicks. Ya se le Arcondas. We'll leave it at that. So international break, we get the 2 weeks off. Greece does play England. That's going to be obviously a win there, even a draw. That pretty much will secure a top spot for us.
I know normally in the pod we don't talk ethnic much, but that is a huge, huge game, and we're really looking forward to seeing how we go.
Yeah,
Apparently, a 1-0 loss secures first in the group.
provided we
Hmm.
beat Finland at home. Yeah, is it
Yeah,
Finland? We
Yeah,
play Finland away. Is it Finland?
away, Finland away. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So that's obviously the more bigger one, but to veer away from the Panathinaikos chatter, England's with some big outs. No Trent, no Declan Rice, no Saka so
Hmm.
far. Not too
and they
sure
haven't got their coach. It'll be still Lee Carsley. It won't be Tuchel.
who's been under fire himself. So we'll wait and see.
Intense atmosphere at Oaka. It's going to be the full on. You guys are a bit older than me. Remember the before my time, but the Machlas header, the '93 World Cup playoff.
that was against Russia.
Yeah,
Russia.
it's going to be. We haven't seen scenes since then of a
Yeah,
packed Oaka with flares. He's going to be the closest to that.
I dare say that a lot of people would want to relive that experience of the flares if you score a goal.
And let's hope. And obviously, good luck to all our players representing their respective nations as well. And yeah, hopefully everyone returns not injured, ready to go. Because after that, it's that big, like I
10
said,
games.
10 games in 1 month,
That's unbelievable. So for 5 weeks, it's 2 games a week.
2 games a week.
Far out. There goes our sleep.
Anyway, with that, pleasure, boys. Always good to speak. We get some better sleep now, but yeah, definitely will ruin that.
That Finland one is 4 a.m.
Well,
on a
the
Monday.
difference with Ethniki is now there's actually hope there. It's that hasn't been the case for a long time. courtesy of Ivan, there's hope there. While Panathinaikos Football Club,
Lost. Yeah.
it
Yeah,
doesn't feel
sneaky
like
gains.
it just feels like there's no hope there.
Big
Made
fortnight
our
ahead.
contribution.
Big fortnight ahead for Rui Vitoria, hopefully.
Yeah, and I'm just waiting to celebrate the news once Papa Dimitriou, if he gets sacked. I'm assuming he will.
I think we'll be calling an emergency podcast to pop the champagne.
Just celebrations like the those English fans at the pub, the famous
Yeah.
that famous meme. Yeah, uh, probably do a recreation of that meme.
I think so.
All right, fellas, thank you very much.